Naively, I thought it was about cooking. This sounds really weird, but I thought it was a show about cooking. Now, what I experienced being on was it's more reality TV.
Hello and welcome back to Breaking Bread, the Birmingham food podcast presented by food obsessed mates Liam and Carl. I'm Liam. Happy to have you all with us. Well, a crazy 2 weeks it's been since we released the Alex episode. Wow, things have just gone a bit mental for us. So glad everyone liked the episode with Alex. We have had probably more feedback than we had about any other episode. It was crazy. I think we kind of knew that when we released it would be quite a popular episode. He's such a charismatic dude, isn't he? Everyone knows him. There's a little bit of controversy. I'm hoping we kind of peeled that back a little bit and maybe got the most honest interview you might have heard with him. If you haven't listened to it, obviously it doesn't disappear. You can go back and listen. All of our episodes are still there since day one, so go back and have a listen to that if you didn't. There's a lot of people messaged us and said that they loved it. We really love hearing your feedback. It really makes it all worthwhile for us, and we're really glad that you do that. Obviously, best way of getting back to us is obviously DM on probably Instagram, probably read the most, and Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. Facebook, yeah, we're on Facebook, probably not as much as the other two, but we're there. So if you do like it, or you got a little bit of feedback you want to pass on to us, get in touch. Yeah, we'll be on there. We're happy to chat. Or you want to just talk about food, we're happy to talk about food too. Just come and talk about food. If you like today's episode, you might be into the whole kind of chef thing. We've been quite chef heavy lately, but obviously the episode before Alex was Masterchef 2019, the professionals winner, Stu Dealey. Well, an absolute legend he is. If you want to go back and listen to that, that's all on there too. Obviously that ties in a little bit with today's episode as well, with Mike obviously being on Masterchef last year as well, but not the professionals, just the normal one. Another chef we had was Craig Treadwell, who obviously has a bit of experience with these cooking shows, competitions as well. He was on Great British Menu in 2019. He's probably 3 episodes back, so if you go back and have a listen to that, he's on there. We've had Luke Butcher, head chef from Pennell's in Birmingham, and Ben Taylor, the head chef of probably our favourite restaurant, Little Blackwood. Yeah, so there's plenty of chef talk. If you want to go back and have a little listen to them, that'd be great. And obviously if you do like them episodes, or you love today's episode, if you could do us just a huge favour and go on to iTunes, I think it's Apple Podcasts now, whatever they call it, just go on there, and if you could give us a 5-star rating and a little review, that'd be fantastic. We'd really love that. 2020's shaping up to be quite an exciting year. There's a few new openings coming up already. Obviously Roxy Ballroom in Digbeth's opening up. That would be quite cool. I think they've got like beer pong and all kinds of exciting stuff. If you don't follow them, make sure you go and give them a follow. Yeah, another cool opening up is in the Custard Factory. It's like one of these retro arcade bars. Looks awesome, right up my street. I love all the old retro games. NQ64. So that's another thing to look out for. I think that's opening up next week, so you might want to go and check that out. Other kind of exciting news, obviously it kind of broke. I'm recording this intro on Wednesday, and it kind of broke today about Couch being named as 20 of the cocktail bars you must visit by the Telegraph. So it's lovely to see a bit of a Birmingham bar getting into the national press. We love that. So massive congratulations to Couch. Yeah, and as I said, 2020 is just full of exciting things. I think it's going to be a good year. So on to today's episode. Really good episode again. Probably one of the nicest dudes ever is Mike Eaglesfield. He was a contestant on Masterchef last year. He has quite a lot to say about the whole Masterchef experience. It's probably what some of us know, some people might not know. There's a lot of cold food, and you know, at the end of the day, it's a television program more than maybe a cooking contest, and he goes quite deep into that. And we talk quite a bit about his new company, which is recently quit his job and he's now self-employed. He's got his own business. It's called Canary Kitchen. Basically, they do outside catering at people's houses. I think it starts, he said, at like £65 per head, which is phenomenal value. I think it's 6 courses or something like that. And if you go follow Canary Kitchen or Mike Eaglesfield Food on Instagram, you'll see the photos of his food. It's just incredible, really good restaurant quality food. We'll put the links obviously in our show notes. He mentions a couple of books at the end. I push him for a few book recommendations. He kind of started off the whole cooking thing by doing this Floyd from Home. I think he was working his way through the Floyd cookbooks, and I don't know if it's because he hasn't come through the whole classical route. He spends a lot of time cooking from books and takes a lot of inspiration from books, so I pushed him on a few recommendations for books, and I think I caught him on the spot actually, and he failed to remember a few, and I said, I'll get a few off him and put them in the show notes. So if you head over to our show notes, you can see some books that he recommends, because he kind of forgets them when I press him on it on the episode. But yeah, we have a brilliant conversation. Lots about food in Birmingham in general, Masterchef, and kind of going off and doing your own business. So there's something of value for everyone, I think. So I hope you all enjoy. Big thanks again to Bacchus, who let us record there. We recorded a few there now. Really nice to have somewhere in the middle of town to record from. Hope you all enjoy this episode with Mike Eaglesfield.
Hello people, this is Breaking Bread Podcast. Here with me, Carl and Liam. And we've got a good interview today. It's going to be with Mike Roster Eaglesfield, former MasterChef 2019 contender, and also runs Canary Kitchen, in-home dining experience. Hello, Mike.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All good.
Brilliant. So tell us a bit about yourself.
So I was on MasterChef this year. Following that, we have since started a catering company as well, which is kind of home dining really. So going out to people's premises and designing 7 or 8 course meals for people, kind of bespoke to what they like and dislike really. So it's going really well. I think we've been going now. I think the first one we did was 2nd of Jan. And I think we're up to 57, 58 inquiries already. So there just seems to be a bit of a call for it, to be honest. So, yeah, all good.
What area of Birmingham is it you'll cover most places?
Birmingham, Black Country. We've done a couple of events in Shrewsbury as well, or Shrewsbury, however you say it, but there.
There's a lot of people.
Topical.
I've heard it's Shrewsbury, and that was from an MP. From there,
MPs never lie.
But
let's go with that.
Yeah. And it's Tory as well, so it's probably wrong. So.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the radio, and the radio host asked him. I don't know any Tories. Don't be silly. You say you got Canary. We'll come on to MasterChef, but you started Canary Kitchen. How did that come about?
So this started. I started cooking more when me and my wife got together. She suggested putting it on Instagram and keeping kind of a diary of what you're cooking almost. And one weekend we were chatting, I think we were hungover on a Saturday, and Keith Floyd came on the telly and we were watching it. And I was saying I didn't think much of his recipes, that they never look kind of appealing.
Yeah.
So she said, all right, if you think you can do better, which I didn't. I just thought, I just, because it's old school TV and done kind of old school digital, what have you. I just didn't think it looked appealing at all. So she bet me that I couldn't cook his top 100 recipes out of this book that I had. So I started, that was basically the challenge. So we started cooking them. They were fantastic. Even things like a pea and mint soup, the way he did it was exceptional. Started doing that, got to about number 14, 15 in. And then that was it. The bug kind of hit me and I just started going from there really and kind of buying my own ingredients and making own recipes. Off the back of that, we were contacted then by someone saying, would you consider doing private dining for 6 people over in Dorridge? So we said yes. Me and Tone went over. I did all the prep. with the view that Tone was going to do the serving. Tone's my wife, by the way. Was going to do all the serving and the introducing of the food. And we had no idea what we were letting ourselves into. Went and did it. Did a 5 or 6 course meal for them. And they absolutely loved it. And they turned around and said, we've had some fine dining restaurants. Noma, El Bulli, they'd ate it as well. They were quite successful people, to be fair, all company directors, and they said that was fantastic food and to keep doing what we were doing. So we posted about that online, and off the back of that, we got in touch with the former Blues captain, Michael Morrison. He's only just left there now, actually. And he asked whether we'd do a New Year's Eve party for him and 5 of the first team and their wags. So we basically said, yeah, we'll do that. And we cooked for them. And that was on the 2nd of Jan this year. And as I say, off the back of that, it's just gone absolutely crazy. It's just all social media. It's what we cook. I love cooking. I love learning all different types of food. And it is just, once you put that on social media, it catches if it's done right. And we've just had so many inquiries then off the back of that and bookings that, yeah, I've had to quit the day job, literally, which is good.
Just wanted to go back before.
Yeah.
Then, did you always cook, or were you always a big cook?
Not really. I used to, where I lived in Solihull, my mum and dad lived about 2-3 minutes away. So when I moved out when I was 24, she used to post me food through the door when they were taking the dog for a walk, which was wicked. I do miss that now, to be fair. But you'd hear a thud in the morning and it'd be like a bacon sandwich or a sausage sandwich dropped through you. That's incredible. It's fantastic.
That sounds like a business idea, right?
Honestly,
there.
yeah.
Just a subscription bacon
missing
sandwich
a trick.
Service.
My mum should branch out. But so yeah, that she used to just post stuff, which was all sound until you've obviously got company around the house and like a tin foil package drops through. It looked dodgy as, man, a tin foil package dropping through the door. But that was it. I remember buying a couple of cookbooks and just going through them and starting to learn kind of gradually, really. And then it became, I've got quite an addictive personality, so it became a bit of an obsession then. It was cookbooks, it was cookery programs, and it was just learning and trying it out. And then I was single at the time. All kind of my nights out started to dwindle down as I was kind of choosing to cook in for me on my own rather than go out. And that was it then, really. It just kept going and just kept learning. And when I got with my now wife, obviously we were doing, that was about 7 years ago, we started to do a lot more dinner parties, and that's when I really started to hone it and kind of learn the art of kind of mass catering from pissed up people. But yeah, so that's it. So yeah, kind of I'd probably say 27, 28 when I first started, really. So quite
Did you work in any kitchens or anything, or any training? Or?
No, nothing. I had, I mean, my mum and dad and other people would buy me these like kind of cookery lessons, like learn how to make pasta and things like Beckett's Farm or Orange Kitchen they've got there and things like that. But
did you have any good ones? Do you recommend any?
Do you know the pasta one was brilliant?
Was that at,
that was at the
Beckett's?
Yeah. Beckett's Farm, yeah. So they've got an Orange Kitchen there, but I think it was about 100 odd quid. But for 4 hours and learn how to make pasta. Well, to me, that was like, once you learn pasta, you've got so much other stuff that you can learn off the back of it. So it was kind of a necessity, really. But yeah, stuff like that. It was just learning myself, replicating what you've seen on TV, and just trying it out. And trying it out, like I'd try it out on friends when they'd come over. I'd like they'd literally come over before we'd go out, and I'd cook like a 3-course dinner for them, just to give it a quick try before we actually go out on the lash. So all very random, but yeah, it's become since then just like addiction, hardcore. Like I have to cook. If I don't cook on a night, I start getting twitchy the next night. So I just have to go out and cook.
Did you have any family who were chefs, or your parents weren't chefs, or your mum?
No one. Mum, I mean, my mum always knew how to kind of host a good party and a good cook. My uncle as well. My uncle was one that I'd go to stay as I was a kid with the family, and we'd have holidays at his in Norfolk and Spain where he lived. And he was the big kind of the showman when it come to kind of food and what have you. And just learnt the art of... Because I do believe that cookery isn't just about the food. I think it's about, especially what we do with this home dining, that it's got to have theatre as well. So you've got to bring theatre. It's no good just rocking up with good plates of food. You want to kind of get people engaged and bring a bit of theatre. You know, get them to try stuff that they maybe haven't tried before. So yeah, I kind of learned that from my uncle. Yeah, just sitting back and watching him as him and all his mates got hammered.
Do you think that's what's kind of influenced you to go down the whole kind of private dining part? Because basically you're just crashing people's parties and making them amazing food.
That's
probably
it.
Where that's come from. Or?
It's well, do you know, we never set out to do that. I don't know what I set out to do. When we first started, when I was cooking the Floyd recipes, we called our blog Floyd from Home, and it was literally just to, like, almost like, you know, the film Julia and Julia, like the Julia Childs, where she cooks like so many of Julia Childs recipes. It was kind of like that, really. But it was just just crazy. Just all very crazy. And we got the call to say, would you do a home dining? But that was kind of out the blue. We just didn't know what it was going to be, or we didn't think anything would come of it, if I'm being honest.
Pushing for it.
Nah, because I thought if you push for it, the art kind of... I wanted to do it for the kind of love of what I was doing, which was cooking and delivering good food and kind of the theatre as well. And I got that buzz when people came around and cooked for them and kind of did that. And more people started to say, you should look at kind of doing this full time if you love it. And then it just so happens that we got asked if we would ever do a private dining event. And that was what we did. And then all of a sudden, everyone was asking whether we'd do private dining. But I do think it's down kind of my age. How old am I? I'm 39. But all kind of my friends and around my age have children. And they're all kind of tied in where they can't go out. I mean, they're all pissheads in the day, but they can't really go out and do that now. So what this does is we come to you. We now do a drinks package as well of all funky drinks, and we kind of bring that to you. So everyone we do, they've always got kids upstairs, but they're getting absolutely wild, like the music's blasting and it's good food, and it's obviously saving on taxi fares and childminder fees and all that kind of stuff. So
that sounds like my childhood, in fairness. Yeah. Parties in the house, trying to get to sleep the next day. I just wanted to... I don't think we can let you go on to the next bit without asking if you have a favourite Floyd recipe that you've done.
Favourite Floyd? I probably would say the pea and mint, the first one we did, because I didn't think anything... I just thought I knew what it was going to taste like. And actually, I copied it exactly to the book. I think it did it for about 10 people, and it was just me and the wife, but I just stuck to that. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I mean, I cooked like pheasant, partridge in there, all these different kind of things. But that pea and mint soup was just next level. And that made me realise that something so simple was so good that could stand on its own. That actually, I was talking crap when I thought that he couldn't cook. Yeah. Oh.
So how does it work if someone books you?
Yeah.
What happens? Do you turn up and you've got to cook it all in their house, or do you turn up with most of it prepped or cooked? How does it sort of go? It's
quite interesting that, because you always we turn up 45 minutes before the first course is served, and people always think like they chat to us and then say, we better let you get on with cooking, but it is done all kind of predominantly, I'd say about 70% is done at home. So where we live, our garage has been converted into a second kitchen, and that is kind of sole use for Canary Kitchen. And we've had the council round and got a 5-star hygiene rating, and that is the sole purpose. So all the food is prepped there. We don't use that for our kind of day-to-day cooking, if you like. So we do the majority there. Turn up 45 minutes before we're due to serve, and then we just finish off what we need to finish off. So you can pan sear meat at home and then take it to kind of the third party premises and then kind of heat it in the oven or what have you.
So
But
these people, they don't need a large kitchen or anything for you to turn up and do what you do.
And that is the common misconception that people say, like, I'm a kitty, I bet you've cooked. We have cooked in some great kitchens, but actually where I kind of learned to cook in Acock's Green was like 5x5 kitchen. It was absolutely tiny, but I loved it. It's less walking for me. So I can just stand in the middle and just grab stuff. So, you don't need any. Kitchen's never a problem. As long as there's a working oven and hob, that's all we ask.
Oh, cracking. So what is it if people can ask for literally anything and you'll do it, or do you have stuff like a set sort of... You can ask for around about an area, but...
Yeah. So what we do, we've got... I try and cook something new every day. So I'm kind of constantly learning and constantly evolving. And that's how it's kind of worked. When we first went out and done it, it was the 3 dishes that I was going to cook for MasterChef that we kind of went out with. And since then, I kind of look back how far I've kind of come since then, because of actually what we've got in the bank now of recipes that we can use. They're kind of our go-to, but we get an idea of what people like and dislike. The majority around the West Midlands, everyone hates fish. It's weird.
That's nuts, man.
Honestly,
crazy.
Unless
Oddly
it's
enough,
battered.
we know people as well that hate fish, and I can't get my head around it at all.
They always say no fish, no mushroom, and like no offal.
Oh man,
Yeah. I'm not 80.
but there's some cracking offal though knocking around the place. Some really good options.
That's it. I mean, I know what I can cook and what I'm kind of where my kind of strengths lie. So if someone was to say, I mean, it's also we need stuff that we know. We can do, or the majority at home. B, that it travels, and C, that we can then finish it kind of there. You can't have something like a kind of beef Wellington or anything like that, anything that would risk going soggy and things like that.
Yeah.
Plus, because we're doing a 7 to 8 course menu, we have to make sure it flows. It's not just about, because a lot of people always ask for red meat. Well, you can't have red meat. It's got to kind of all flow with kind of lighter stuff and kind of your carbs and what have you and things. So there is a kind of structure to it.
I'd imagine a 7-course meal if you can't have fish on it.
It's weird, man. It's weird. They only like it if it's battered to an inch of its life. Which I'm fair play to.
Where did the name come from?
So the name that was a drunk fueled evening. That was we were out. So my wife's from the Canary Islands, Lanzarote, and when we were talking about doing this, we were going to call it Canarian Kitchen, like from the Canary Islands. And we went round. We were actually at my uncle's, and we'd had a night of food and drink, and he was saying, "So what are you calling it?" And my wife was saying Canarian Kitchen, and he was like, "Canary and." She was like, Canarian. He was like, Canary, I can't hear you. I don't know what you're saying to me. Write it down. So she wrote it down. He was like, I thought you were saying Canary and Kitchen. Because initially, we were going to kind of go with Canarian food, because my wife obviously loves Canarian food. So I learned how to kind of cook a lot of that. And there was no real good kind of Canarian kind of restaurants around. So we kind of thought, well, maybe that's something, but we didn't want to be pigeonholed that it was just going to be Canarian food. And Canarian Kitchen kind of sounded like you were pigeonholing yourself into just Canarian food. So when my uncle, he suggested Canarian Kitchen, that kind of fit, because it was kind of, it's a nod to my wife's where she grew up, plus it didn't pigeonhole us just doing Canarian food. So all sorts.
I don't know, have you seen one of our last guests, Tapas Catering Company, Sylvia?
Oh yeah.
She does the was it Mojo? Yeah, no,
Mojo Verde, Mojo Picante.
Yeah, that's what she does. Have you tried them? Or?
They are. I've tried them. Yeah, they
nice.
are stunning, because it's all about the papas aragadas and the mojos. You got the 2 mojos and then like the garlic alioli as well, done properly. Yeah. And I love that. That's really done right. They are beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
That's probably the closest in Birmingham you'll get to kind of Canarian food.
Yeah. Because there's not a tip, but whenever you chat to anyone, like my wife was from Lanzarote, so everyone you chat to, everyone's been Lanzarote. It's all, when I worked in an office, everyone was like, where are you going on holiday? Lanzarote, standard. But there was no real Canarian food, which kind of, that's why we were thinking Canarian food to start off with. But yeah, like I say, I like to cook everything and anything and not be pigeonholed with it.
You're probably quite lucky with how much you said people don't like fish.
Yeah.
Canary food's quite fish heavy.
Yeah,
They got
yeah.
them little, was it summer fish? They're nice. I know the little, have you seen
Oh,
them?
no.
I think we're in Playa Blanca?
Yeah.
And nearly every restaurant had the glass bottoms underneath and you could see the fish underneath you. It was crazy.
Love it. Love
Nice
it.
place.
Yeah. But I don't really eat fish either.
Oh, you don't even eat fish. You're moaning about
So,
people
like,
who don't eat fish. And you don't eat, you're one of them people.
I'm not moaning about it because I never mind. I haven't grown up kind of eating it, and I certainly haven't really cooked it. So if anyone wants to say fish, I've learnt a couple of salmon dishes that I can do. But yeah, if anyone says like, do me something weird, I'd shit a brick. To be fair. Or just batter it.
It's always the safe
Yeah,
option. Who
that's
doesn't like bad fish?
Yeah. Shove pickled onions and brown sauce with it.
So if someone books you, what sort of price range? Is it a vary?
So we start at £45 a head. And that is for 6 to 8 courses, I'd say, depending on kind of what we do. We've also got a drinks package that we wanted to go with because we kept getting asked what wines go with what. Well, we're not wine connoisseurs, you know. I like red. That's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, you know the colour, that's about it.
Yeah. So we were just kind of saying that to people as well. With wine, it's a opening up a whole new world. That is that whoever you chat to, someone's always going to know more than you. Unless you're Loki Wine and one of these. So we wanted to do a drinks option that was different. So I had a friend that works for quite a unique drinks company, and we got chatting to him, and he supplied like wilderness and nocturnal animals and what have you. But some of the stuff he did, I said to him, I want something that's a story. So he said, all right. He said, give me a couple of weeks. Gave him a couple of weeks. We met him outside the Red Lion in Alvechurch. He opened up his boot and he just had a boatload of booze in there. And we were just trying all this booze. He just went through everything and the story behind it. And actually, the story resonated. And that's what I'd want to hear about the drink. So it was things like we had a whiskey that was the first whiskey distillery to open in Chicago after Prohibition. And that was the whiskey he had. And that's kind of on the drinks menu. There's another one that called Kira, I think it is, that is made once a week in Japan because it's made from cherry blossoms. So the cherry blossoms get picked in that week when they do blossom, gets fermented and whatever happens to it, and that's the bottle. So you're actually drinking kind of that, and we go with that as like an aperitif and a digestive. We've probably got about 9 or 10 drinks like that with a story that actually people are really interested in. Usually they go in cocktails, so 7 or 8 of them ingredients in a cocktail will make it taste like an after 8. Well, actually, if you deconstruct it and even just the little shots, I'd want to taste the little shots and know about where that shot's coming from and things like that. And we've even got like, we didn't know, but the number 1 selling spirit brand in the world. Do you know what it is?
Suntory.
Jinro Soju. It's a Korean shot. And the Koreans average, I think, 7 to 8 a week of this drink.
Jesus.
So we bought one of them and we serve it with a Korean dish called Doenjang Jikai, I think. Yeah. Well,
I don't think our Korean listeners are going to pick us up on this one.
Shout out to the Korean listener. But yeah, so we serve it with that, how you'd get that in Korea. Just again, because the whole story with it, that's the kind of theatre that we like. And it's a bit of a talking point for people and something that they won't have had before.
No, it sounds really interesting. Yeah. Sounds like it'd add a lot to the dinner party as well. Because it's always great if someone turns up and they've got an interesting bottle or something.
Oh, yeah. They're your best mate.
But if you turn up and you've got a different drink that's not just wine with every course, that sounds like something would really be good.
It's really good. We have different... We've got like drinks like Skinnios, I think it is, that is made in one island in Greece, on the Isle of Chinos, and it's the sap of a tree that they make into a liqueur, and you smell it, and it smells of sap and leaves and damp and awful. But then you drink it, and it drinks nothing like it smells. Yeah. So again, it's that interaction with people who book us that we're right, smell that, and then take a swig, and it's just again a talking point. And we serve that with kind of pickled olives and things, and it just kind of adds to it. But yeah, people are taking it up, and it's all good, and we love doing it. A lot more to carry in the motor though, because we have like it's like 5 drinks, and we have like them 5 bottles, but then about 50 glasses, because we have different glasses for each kind of bottle. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot to take.
So when people are trying to book you, how would they manage to do that?
Online, Instagram, Facebook is how it usually works. Majority is probably Instagram, I'd say. We just get messages just popping up. But yeah, we got our own website that people can go into. There's a booking form. And yeah, prices are from like £45 per head.
It's very reasonable, actually, especially as you're coming into their home as well.
Yeah. That's
private dining, like
exactly, and it's it's good. Obviously, Christmas time is a little bit more.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I want to have a Christmas as well.
I know Carl's itching to get onto MasterChef, but I just want to ask you first about working with your wife. How's that?
Do you know what?
She's not your wife? She is your wife?
She's my wife, yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
I just assumed you were married. Like,
just some woman.
If you weren't, congratulations, you're married.
If I was working with another woman like that on an evening with alcohol and I was married to someone else, that wouldn't work. It wouldn't happen. Yeah, it's sound. We actually had that the weekend. We had 3 bookings this weekend that we did. And someone said on the Saturday night booking, how have you just managed to do that? Because they were saying they can't even like cook like one dish without getting into a blazing argument. But I kind of go into cook mode where I just crack on. I know what I know and I know what I need, and everything has to be there. And kind of Tones learn pretty quick to kind of in the heat of the moment when you're trying to get out like 12 dishes hot and plated the same with just me doing it, that she just kind of leaves me to it. So the first one, there was kind of a few, like when we were in the car on the way back, she's a bit like, well, there's no need to talk to me like that, was there? But she knows that like it's just the heat of kind of their kitchen.
You just don't take it home with your work and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then just praise her as soon as we leave, just saying couldn't have done that without you. You're the best, etc.
She's definitely going to listen to this, you know.
I know, yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's mine and her business. Like, I do the cooking, I do the dishes, like thinking of the dishes and kind of what have you. But she does all the social media, all the books, all the booking inquiries, and she's absolutely brilliant at that. And I can do what I can do, so it just kind of works, really.
This is your full-time job now?
Quit work a month and a half ago.
Was that a big leap of faith?
It still is.
Terrifying.
It is, because it's we were saying earlier just that it's once you do it out of the love of it, when it becomes monetized and you have to do it to earn money, it's a bit of a different beast. But I'm loving it. I was in insurance before, so anything is better than insurance. So yeah, this is it's good. I'm really enjoying it, but it kind of leap into the unknown. But again, my missus said, like, fair play for her having belief, like, we can do this. It's something that we both kind of sat down and said it's something we've got to try, because if we don't, in years to come, you'll look back and think, do you know, we could have done something, we could have kind of made something there. Well, to me, epoxy insurance job, it was worth jacking it in to give it a go. You know, if it doesn't work, I'll go back to insurance and alcohol. It sound
just on a practical term, like we might have people listening who might have ideas and they might be thinking, oh God, I'd love to just jack tomorrow and go off and follow my dreams. And was there any practical steps you took? Like, some people, they like work out how much they need to live off for 6 months, and then they'll save that money, and then so if all else fails and you don't get any income, at least you've got that for 6 months. Do you have any practical advice like that? Or?
Yeah, we did. When we started to do bookings, and the bookings were kind of one every 2 weeks, I'd say. And it kind of snowballed and got bigger and bigger. And now we're kind of up to kind of 3 bookings a week. But the good thing is you can then plan on how much you're going to earn off the back of that. So we know we're already getting booked up January. I think we've only got a couple of slots left in January now. That's kind of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. April we got bookings, so we knew the time was right for me to just quit my role. We kind of knew that we had so much booked in. That, and I think I was going to get sacked because I was wagging work and going to the supermarket.
Would it be fair to say it felt like it was the right time? You had to make the choice, and that was it.
Yeah, it was then. I had a meeting on the Monday with my managers because it was a sales job for them to basically say you're not hitting sales target. So the kind of that grip was tightening. So on Friday, we just had that conversation. I just thought, just jack it in. So then just jacked it in and then put on 3 months garden leave. So again, just at home, learning how to cook again, learning different dishes and just kind of expanding the knowledge, what have you.
It's a good help, actually, in fairness.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell them that.
That is a good help.
They think I'm going to another insurance company.
You didn't tell them what you were doing?
No,
Did they know anything about it?
They knew.
Obviously, they've seen you on telly, but...
Yeah. So they after Masterchef, I started to post a bit more. And my manager said, we think your head's been turned and that you want to do cooking. And I said, no, I love insurance. I really want to do insurance.
Did you keep the straight face? Or?
Yeah, deadpan, right, poker face. I said, no, it's my future. And yeah, that was it. It was like, they knew it. I think. But to get gardening, if I'd have said I was going out of the industry, they'd have said... well, come into the office then and just do like real menial work. So I said I was going to another insurer and they said, right, leave now. So that was it. So straight to the Korean supermarket, bought myself some ingredients and started to learn Korean food.
Where do you source your ingredients? And because it must be quite hard going to suppliers. You haven't got like...
Yeah.
Like if you work for a big restaurant, you've got the name of the restaurant, you've got a whole kind of structure.
Yeah,
You're fairly new, you're going to suppliers and saying, trust me. But how do you source? Or?
We source kind of wherever we can. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but so we'll go to, while we were kind of growing and while we are growing, it's like Korean supermarkets, the Chinese supermarkets. In Birmingham, the beauty is you've got so much around and so many different cultures that there's different shops that cater. There's a Lithuanian shop next to Arch 13 and Snowhill, like round there, that does great Lithuanian food. So if you want to learn, it's all on your doorstep. And to me, that's the fun bit. That's the bit that I love, is just learning a different... Like I'll go into like a Chinese supermarket, see an ingredient and think, right, I'm going to learn what to do with that, like taro root. Okay, so I'll just buy loads of that and then learn it. Because the internet, you can do whatever you want to do. So just go online, have a look, and just learn that. And that just takes you into a different path. And once you start going with one ingredient, it opens up this whole new world to you. And it's like we've got dishes, like I say, from Korea, China, India as well. We've got an Icelandic dish as well that we've done. So all weird stuff, but it's stuff that you can learn.
What's the Icelandic dish?
So Iceland, we had our honeymoon there and we've been about 6 or 7 times and we love it there. So it's kind of, they're like the land of fire and ice. So we do a chocolate chili brownie with skyr yogurt as well, frozen and put on the bottom. And then citrus kind of lemon meringues, and where we had it first was a licorice ice cream as well, with black lava salt on top as well, volcanic salt. So, but that's really nice. So it's a bit kind of play on fire and ice. You got the cooling element of frozen skyr grated over. You got the chili and the licorice as well. So it's all kind of a bit of a nod to Iceland. It's not like sheep's head or anything, shark. And there's no Icelandic supermarkets in Birmingham yet. Would be good.
That's all very clever then, really.
Quite niche. Yeah.
I think Carl might punch me in the face if I don't start talking about Masterchef.
Yeah.
Carl, I don't know if you know, if he's probably already told you, but Carl's looking to be going on Masterchef soon. So
yeah, training for a couple of years.
He's mad excited. So I'm going to pass you on to Carl and let him go crazy. Get comfy.
Is the training going well?
It's gone on a halt at the moment because I'm moving house.
Oh, right.
I'm moving somewhere with a much bigger kitchen with a double oven and stuff.
Solely for Masterchef.
Yeah, just
for the journey.
It's really extreme prep. No, it's not going too bad. I need to up it more, definitely.
Yeah.
So, how were you already doing the Canary Kitchen when you went on Masterchef?
No, because you're not allowed. Because it's that'd be seen as a business,
right?
But I was doing our Floyd from home, which was this top 100 recipes, and for the past couple of years, I'd had people saying about getting in the food industry. Why don't you try for Masterchef? Go on Masterchef. And that year before I went on, so yeah, last year, that was a great Masterchef. That series was fantastic. Some brilliant cooks, and that was the first time that I thought, actually, I could do that. Turns out I couldn't, but it was I went to apply. I said to everyone, okay. Well, and I said to the family, yeah, I'll give it a go then. Got the application form through, and it was 10 pages long. I was like, I ain't doing that. Oh, it was something ridiculous.
Well, they need to know.
So, exactly. I like cooking. That's
Can you cook? Yes.
See enclosed photo. Does it suit? But you had to do... There was all these questions. So, who influences you? If you could eat anywhere, where would you eat? And obviously, you're going to get people saying the standard Noma or fat duck and things like that. So it was about kind of standing out different. But the 10 pages put me off. I was like, I ain't doing it. So my missus said, I'll fill it in for you then. I was like, all right. She said, but I need you to just answer me honestly. She was like, why do you like cooking? I was like, well, I love it. She's like, yeah, but you can't put that, can you? You can't just put I love it. So you got to spin it into something. So she done it, and she wrote the application. I remember reading the application at the end, and it was class. It had everything. It had highs, lows.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it, finishing it. That's how long it was. It took me about 2 weeks to read it. But I remember thinking then, I reckon that's got me on it. It was just that good how she wrote it. But then there's other stages to it that you have to go through. So then you have a telephone interview for an hour.
An hour?
Yeah. Telephone interview for an hour. So they phoned me up, and I was wagging work at the time. I was in the Chinese supermarket buying some lotus root. And she phoned me up and she said, is that Mike? I was like, yeah. And she said, it's Rebecca from Masterchef. I was like, oh, hi Rebecca, how are you? You're right. And then, an hour's interview with her. And then she says, if you pass the hour's interview, we'll contact you in the next couple of weeks, and then you go to the regionals where you have to basically cook a dish at home, take it to a place where you meet the three, a couple of producers and a couple of researchers, and then you got to plate it up in front of them and have a face-to-face interview with the cameras rolling as well to see what you like. So that was, that was tense, but that you couldn't just cook anything, so you couldn't go with just something random like gammon, egg and chips.
Yeah.
It had to be it had to be a story behind it. So why are you cooking this dish? So I got through the telephone interview. That went really well, and then I had the call to meet at the Radisson in Birmingham, and to the regionals. And I did an Indian Scotch egg. It's a bit like a kind of Nargis kebab. Almost.
Love a Nargis kebab.
They're quality. Just without the omelette on top. I love the omelette on top. I'm getting one of them after this. So I cooked that, plated it up in front of them. It just so happens, I took a beer in with me as well, a purity beer from the local brewery, because I kind of thought, well, alcohol will make this better no matter what. And they said that's the first time they've ever had a bribe. I was happy with that, to be fair. But that was it. So I cooked that. That was fine. I was shaking like a tin dog as well when you're doing it, because you got 3 people watching. did it, and then I literally didn't know how it went because she said, I'll phone you if you're accepted, and that was it. She was like, you could not tell whether you were in or out.
No.
And then I was going on an appointment with work to meet a potential client, and had the call, and she said, you're on. We'd like you for Masterchef Series 15, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then that was like a few weeks of just like head down, proper wagging work. Proper like, I can't come in, I've got the shit.
yeah, a couple of weeks.
And then just like cooking like everything, trying to learn veloutés and all the basics, all the like classic sauces, pastry, pasta, again, like honing up on your pasta skill, just all this kind of stuff that, because you don't know what you're going to get asked. You ain't got a clue when you're there. So that was it. And then we had, I had a letter through with a date of where to go in London, and they put you up for the night, and then you have to be in reception at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning to meet them, and then they walk you over to the studios to film it. And that's horrendous.
Really?
Horrendous. Because it's, I think, naively, I thought it was about cooking. This sounds really weird, but I thought it was a show about cooking. Now, what I experienced being on was it's more reality TV. So they want you terrified. They want your senses heightened.
Yeah.
They want good TV. You know, if you get people going on, you get like 8 people, and 8 people just cook and everything's fine. That's great, but they want drama. They want kind of someone dropping food, someone slicing a finger. And so they just try and keep you on it. They put you in the green room, which is the room where you get all the pensive shots, where everyone just kind of sits there like that. They put you in that room. They feed you. You have to basically ask to go to the toilet because you can't just leave. You can't speak to Greg or John if you see them. You got to just leave them to it. Obviously, they're in the zone. But yeah, so that terrifying.
Would you say would they actively sabotage stuff, like to make it a bit more interesting? You know, if, like you say, if it was all going really well and everyone was cooking brilliantly and it was going swimmingly, that's not very good television. Would they do you think they'd be like? I've heard stories on other programs, not so much MasterChef, where they like switched ovens off or changed the temperature on the oven, or
I don't know about out and out sabotage, but how they we had the HR woman come in. And she said, right, and she was like an old headmistress, man. I don't think she'll listen to this. She was awful. She was terrifying. And we'd started to relax a bit, and then she came and said, right, has anyone ever used an induction hob? And everyone went, no. And she went, well, they're induction hobs. Okay, so what does that mean then? She's like, if you take the pan off, it'll stop working. So don't take the pan off. Like, right, okay, where's all the stuff? She said, it'll be in your station. And we were like, what, everything? And she went, no, not everything. Okay. Right, so what if I want to deep fry something, where's that going to be? Put your hand up and ask when you're in there. And we're like, but is the oil hot? Like, at what temperature? Like, what happens? We don't know. Like, because it's alien for you. You ain't got to, you're going into the unknown and being filmed. So it's terrifying. But, yeah, she weren't helpful. She walked out, and all of us turned to each other and went, fucking hell, we're more nervous than ever. And then they basically say you've got 5 minutes to count down, and then you're outside the door. They look at what lineup they want you in at. They tell you where to go. They say walk in, walk straight to your desk, put on your apron, and just look at John and Greg, and that's it. But to answer your question, like the sabotaging, I mean, we had one guy on there that cut his finger. And they said, right, you got to go to hospital. Now, he's from Texas but lives in Birmingham, and we kind of stay in touch. And I had a chat to him and said, was it bad? He was like, no. He said he could have carried on, but they basically said it's better television by saying you got to go to hospital than putting a plaster on and letting you crack on with it. He actually ended up, he cooked pork in a cream sauce because he got thrown off, so he had to leave in my episode. But then he was allowed back onto the last episode of the first round, and he said he cooked pork. This is the kind of thing that was our experience with Masterchef. He cooked a pork dish and a cream sauce, and he said the pork was like blushing, like beautiful pork. He said, I know it was. He said, and the cream sauce was spot on. He said by the time they come to eat it, which was about an hour and a half after he'd cooked it, the studio lights had overcooked the pork, and then the sauce, they reheated it in the microwave, and it split, and they judged him on the overcooked pork and the split sauce.
Jesus.
So it was like, it's just weird how it's done. So I cooked pasta, and partly because I'd watched an episode from 2 seasons before when a woman had cooked pasta. She took it up and they went, you've cooked pasta, technical skill, you're straight through. So I thought, right, I can do pasta. So that's what I did. But they said it was like my school report. I could have tried harder. Pretty much.
Jesus Christ. I suppose the standard goes up and up every year.
Yeah.
You watch the first series now, you've seen what some people cooked. And what people cooked in the final wouldn't even get past the first round on these episodes. New series.
It has. The standards now, and I think that's probably where I misjudged it. That I think even if you try, at least you're like so many different processes. Pasta's a good technical skill. But I think it's like Greg said, that it just shows you can make a good bowl of pasta, which probably on another day would have got you through if other people had have kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But I think in our round there was 3 semi-finalists and a finalist in the round that I was in, or 2 semi-finalists and a finalist. So it was good competition, but it was good experience. But just terrifying and a bit a good experience to say you've done it, but I didn't enjoy it.
No,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I cook because I love cooking, and I mean it was things like we said hello to John Torode as he was walking past, and he just blanked me.
No way.
Completely blanked me. Whereas like in Birmingham, if someone did that you'd be calling them back going, So it was a bit, but because they're TV stars, you take it. But it was like, one of the women asked Greg Wallace in front of me, who was in the bench in front of me. She said to Greg, "Have you got the time, or how long's left?" And he said, "You got an oven, ain't you? Why don't you try using that instead of asking me?" And again, you think,
so I'm telling you, he's always telling, "No, you've got this long left and this long left." That's all he says.
Yeah, going on there, we all said Greg seems a really nice one, and John Torode, you just need to cook him something spicy, and everything will be okay. Yeah, they both weren't very nice, if I'm being honest. But again, that's my opinion. That is like, well, a few of us in kind of the round that I was in, that they were just kind of didn't want to be. It just felt like it was a bit of a chore. Yeah. But I suppose it is their job. So I think about me in insurance, that was a chore. So it's kind of the same thing, really.
So once you've cooked, what's the hour and a half wait to cook the dinner? 'Cause obviously it's shot different and stuff for telly, it's all edited together.
Yeah.
But you'd still assume they'd eat the food fairly soon after it was cooked.
No, because it's all the shot. They have to take all the photos of it. When you go in, they basically give you, John and Greg gives you the brief and says, right, you got 10 minutes to decide what you want, and then you got an hour to cook it, and then they count you down, 3, 2, 1, go. So you get your basket, you run off, and then it was cut. And it's like, everyone back to the stations. We need to set up the cameras in the farmer's market now. So then you're waiting 15 minutes, like, and so your nerves are still like, you're still going like the clappers. But when you cook it, you finish it, and then you actually go in for all the interviews. Then how do you think you went, and like what do you think you could have done more? And that took an hour and a half, and then they start eating the food. So it's all the photographs. The producers were saying it takes about an hour. They eat it cold. Some of the stuff they heat up, bit kind of hit and miss. Like my pasta would have been ate cold. They wouldn't have heated that up. But again, like that lad that was on it that split the cream sauce, if you had your hopes pinned on it and what have you,
you'd be fuming.
You'd be gutted.
I suppose if you know in advance, though, you can plan to cook something that's going to hold itself for an hour and a half.
That's it. But I don't know how they'd go like with sorbets and stuff like
I was thinking that ice cream or even a steak. If you've just done a good steak, it'd be cold when you come to
That's
have
it.
You can't reheat it.
That was the same with the pork with this lad. So I don't know. It was just bizarre. Yeah, all very weird. Very weird.
So when you see them go in and with their basket, does it take quite a long time? Do they give you more time to decide because you've got to wait between shots, or you've got that amount of time?
You've got 10 minutes. Because I remember someone was trying to get on a machine and the machine wasn't working, and they said, "Can you hold the time for me?" And they were like, "No, of course not." What are you talking about? It was you've got that time. You have 10 minutes to decide, but then they go around and they're interviewing people as you're doing it, and you don't get that back. So you're talking to the camera. Some people work for like 3-4 minutes, and then you got to decide. Everyone has a game plan. Like, everyone knows.
Yeah, there's going to be chicken. There's going to be tomatoes. There's going to be...
And you know all the stuff, but no instructions on it on how to cook it. So I was screwed. No, so I just thought pasta would be a good one to do. Another lad did polenta, knowing that polenta would be there, so to do something like that. But I think they've seen all them tricks. Do you get what I mean? I think a lot of people have done them through the years. So now, if you do that, it marks you at a disadvantage. Because I remember one of the cameramen, I was chatting to when Greg came over and spoke to me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, like, pasta, a kind of pasta dish that I like to cook when I'm drunk, which was a lie. But it's a dish that Italians cook when they're drunk, and it's chili and garlic in pasta, and it's kind of their equivalent of our curry on like a Friday night after a night on the session. So I thought if I say that, maybe there'll be some link there that like, oh yeah, that's what Italians do. But there was none of that. But what was the question again? I've just got to keep rambling on. Where were we?
I remember.
Oh, yeah, that was it. So, yeah, I think they know because, like, Greg spoke to me and said, "What are you doing?" I told him that, and he said, "Right, okay." And he said, "Is that it?" And I kind of didn't know what to say. I was like, well, I don't want to just throw a chicken on there or something like that. So it doesn't go. This is like a rustic Italian dish. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll maybe like fry up some sage and crumble that through in a crispy kind of Parmesan twirl. And he went, right, okay, good. And then he walked off and the cameraman looked at me and kind of smirked and went, good luck with that. And I kind of thought, what do you mean with that? And I think it's because they just know. I think they've been on it for, 15 series of how the format is now, let alone how it was previously.
Yeah.
So I think the cameramen know what really they're looking for. And I think my advice now to anyone like you going in would be, I think you've got to try something now. Like, I think just resting on I'm going in with a bit of a game plan and knowing that that's going to be there and we'll do some around that. I think you do have to kind of do something. But in that white heat at the moment, respect to anyone that does that, because I couldn't. Like, no matter what I say about it, I couldn't have done that because it was, that's not why. Like I say, I love cooking because I love cooking and the timing element and all of that. It was too reality TV for kind of me, really. It was a bit too cutthroat.
So you wouldn't go on it again?
No. No, I wouldn't. But having said that, I mean, I get on really well with one of the women that got to the final, Delia. And so they kind of, a bit like X Factor, you're tied in, so you can't post anything on social media. So she couldn't do anything, but I could, because when you go out early, like first round, you're okay. They're kind of like, you're no good anyway, is how they look at it. So actually that gave me a 3-month head start on learning what I was doing again and kind of... the thing that it did teach me, Masterchef, is you have to submit 3 recipes just in case you get through. You have to go and cook then a main and a dessert or a starter and a main.
Yeah.
You have to submit what you're going to do for the next round. And that's the only thing I'm gutted about, because I'd done a posh balti because of Birmingham, and it was lamb cutlets and like a balti jus, really. Potato fondant. And that now is on our menu at Canary Kitchen. And people love it. And that's the only thing I'm gutted about, that I never got to do that. But in the grand scheme of things, I probably couldn't have done, because it was terrifying. And again, it's horrendous. If I could do it again, I'd do it again just with a shitload of diazepam. I would. I'd just be off it.
So what's it like when you're stood there and you've got Greg and John talking about your food to you? Are they like? Is it just that's all they've ever said to you, or is off camera? Do they say stuff as well?
They said so much more off camera. But what you don't realise as well is you take it up and they look at it, and then they look at you, and they keep looking at you, and then you think, "Fucking hell, should I say something?" And then they kind of say, right, ready? We're good to go. And so obviously they're filming their looks. The camera's filming what they look like and their kind of reactions. But Greg said to me, or he tried mine and went, yeah, it's really nice. Really nice. And then the editor went, Greg, can you just talk about the texture a bit more? And then Greg will go, yeah, the texture's amazing. Oh, yeah, great pasta. Yeah. And then John would say, but it's a bowl of pasta. And they say, yeah, John, can you just talk about the colour and why you don't like it?
Jesus. So they're almost told, essentially,
it's prompted,
what to say.
A lot of it's prompted, yeah. But it's... no one had any idea. Well, actually, all of us watched everyone's kind of dishes be criticised. And they say a good version and almost a bad version. So they praise it and then they'll kind of slam it as well. A little bit.
Yeah.
But the only one they never slammed was mine. So everyone was saying, oh, you're straight through, because they never slammed it. But I think it's just... I think it could be edited well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think there's a certain way that it could be edited. And again, it's reality TV, isn't it? I think we all said when we went to the pub after that first round and me and Mark had been knocked out, we all turned around and said, Delia will get to the final. And we reckon it will be an all-women final as well. Just because of the movement of what was happening at that moment in time. And Delia got to the final and it was an all-woman final as well. So it was just... And now it's not to say it's conspiracy or anything like that. It's MasterChef, but I think they they know almost which way they'd like to take it, maybe.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I suppose since they know what you'd cook if you went through as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But we had... I mean, there was a guy that went on last year that I personally think is one of the best cooks that's been on MasterChef. And he got to the semi-final and thrown out. And I've spoke to him since. We kind of you go into a Facebook ex-MasterChef group after. So you're friends with all the previous contestants and winners. And he was a guy called Greg Emerson. And this guy is next level. Absolutely next level. And he got to the semi-final. And he should have won it. He should have won it, hands down. His food... and still his food. Now I look at his food and think, how are you doing that? It's like a kind of not say normal cook, but like a kind of home cook.
Yeah.
But he ended up opening a restaurant and things like that. But he should have won it. And I see some things on there on MasterChef that as they were getting through that you think, how is that kind of worthy of where it is? Do you know what I mean? But hey, one of them, innit? One of them.
No.
I don't sound bitter. I don't sound like an X Factor finalist saying, you haven't seen the last of me.
You're happy with that now, Carl? I'm surprised he wasn't taking notes the whole time. It's definitely going to get your wife to fill out his application. He's wrote that down at the top. I can see it.
I can give you prep talk before you go on. Love it.
I'm excited. You lost me at 10 pages application. I was gone.
Yeah.
That's me.
That was exactly me as well. I'm done. I'm spent.
I mean, I don't blame MasterChef. They've got to make it look interesting. No one's going to watch it if it's boring.
Yeah, exactly. And that it is what it is, and it works for some people, and some people thrive in that. I particularly didn't like it because I prefer cooking, because I love cooking as opposed to time and what have you. But one of them. Got an experience.
I think we kind of got chatting on Instagram is the first kind of way.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of your photos. You liked a lot of ours. And then we started talking about you go somewhere. I think you went Harborne Kitchen first.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going there. How good was it? And you were like, awesome. And then I went and it was awesome.
It was that one in Newcastle, wasn't it? Was it
in Newcastle?
Yeah.
Restaurant?
What was that one in Newcastle that do like the little plates?
York, Scosh.
Yes, York, that was it.
That was it.
That's some place,
that's unbelievable. That is.
Oh
that
man,
hen's egg.
Next level.
That hen's egg. It's ridiculous.
Have you not? Oh, you've got. I tell you.
Do you know that we got the hen's egg? Obviously, everyone gets the hen's eggs. We got 2 of them. And then at the end, when they were like, "Can we take you? Do you want any desserts?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll have." And I gave him a list. And then my wife was like, "Do you know what?" He said, "You want another hen's egg?" And my wife was like, "Yeah, I do." He was like, "It happens all the time. People like order one hen's egg, and then at the end, instead of dessert, they'll just get another hen's egg."
They are that good.
It's incredible.
That's some of the best food about. And what I loved about that is that it was so chilled, a really relaxed atmosphere, but kind of fine dining as well.
Yeah, it felt special, really but at the same time, it was very like our bun kitchen. It's very relaxed, but quite special as well.
Yeah,
I think it missed out on a Michelin star. I think it's got a bib gourmand, but not a full Michelin. But
yeah.
So
matter of time though, surely.
I think so. Yeah, I think it will definitely get. Where do you like eating out in Birmingham in general? You know, I think Birmingham food at the minute's never been better. Obviously, that's why we decided to start the podcast. Yeah.
I think it's we're really lucky with how many Michelin stars restaurants we've got. For me, I kind of like. I mean, Michelin star is fantastic.
It's a special occasion, though.
And that's it. And I think it's again, that's with us. That's where we wanted to fit. I think the street food scene is fantastic in Birmingham, Digworth Dining Club, and all of that. I mean, that is superb.
Were you never tempted to go down that route when you kind of started?
We kind of a little bit. We kind of like to do with kind of them street food flavours, but the kind of home dining that we do, but them kind of it's not fine dining that we do. It's good, tasty food, and that kind of street food vibe, but done at your home with kind of different elements from different kind of countries and things like that. But
it dictates it has to be food that people want to eat.
Yeah. That's it. And street food is that.
Yeah.
And I think fine dining will be things that you're really unsure of, but they almost stuff you've never really heard of, and things that just done alchemy and stuff you could never dream of. Street food to the Joe public is more tangible, is what I think. But yeah, the places in Birmingham, we're massive fans of. Is it Topoki on Hurst Street, the Korean? That is
good. I've never been.
God, stunning.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I love it there.
So good. I think we love that. We're Theme as well.
Theme,
we're talking about
today. Well, we're filming it, recording this. Theme picked up a star today.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of times. I absolutely love it. I've had the taster menu and the normal.
Oh, have you?
A la carte stuff there, and it's just a fantastic place, isn't it?
It's I think the beauty, like Theme again, is stunning, and he's Akhtar's Italian restaurant,
Legna, next door to it. Yeah.
We went to the opening of the spring menu there, and that was stunning. All brilliant. But then you've got you go the kind of Balti triangle as well, and you've got the basic chicken bought for like £5.50, and that's quality.
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff. Birmingham is just at the moment is banging for food. It
seems to be getting better and better. All this is our podcast. We're low at loss. I've got a list of restaurants I want to eat at.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be ticking them off, but as I'm ticking them off, I'm adding 2 every time.
Yeah, you're going to be skint. But you like Carter's as well. Carter's, because I remember the first one we did, first Michelin star we ever done was Glenpernell's. And my naivety, I didn't know how it worked, and had 6 pints of Guinness before we went in. And then went on the taster menu, and by course 7... had to go be tactically sick in the toilet to carry on. It's one of them, innit? But that
I get the feeling Glim would be quite proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean that's beautiful, and how that's done is incredible. Brad Carter's, for me, kind of my generation, that felt a bit more relaxed, and the fact that he'd serve like beer with stuff as well, that to me is a bit more of a pull. But that was class as well, Carter. But there's loads. Adams as well. I mean, Adams he's not trained either. He's self-taught, isn't he? I'm sure he's self-taught. I mean, unreal. Absolute unreal. But yeah, so much to do, so much to eat.
I think we just got so lucky when we started the podcast. It was just as the wave was coming.
Yeah.
It was good timing.
Riding that wave, fair play.
But it's not just the restaurants. There's there's pop-ups everywhere. Like you got the Duke in King's Heath that does pop-ups. And, Lap. There's little Asian feasts and stuff like that from Canary Cafe. They're awesome. Like if you ever get the chance to go to them, and then obviously yourself, the pop-ups. You got pop-ups at
gin and pickles. Yeah. I think it's I think that's what's brilliant now about the food scene is that, like even Brad Carter's getting other people in and doing stuff, and I love that. I love that it's giving little people a kind of chance to go do like 1,000 Trades at the jewellery quarter that they had. Was it Salt or someone, a bit of a resident, but they predominantly had kind of people coming in and just
I think they change monthly, or is it 2 monthly or something like that? But they're always changing. Yeah. It's brilliant.
But that's class, man. Just the fact that they're doing that for the likes of us is brilliant, and that as long as you do good food, and you know kind of what you're good at, then there's no reason why you can't kind of get on the big stage with these kind of like 1,000 Trades and do pop-ups and things like that, because it's all tangible. And social media, everyone knows everyone on social media. That kind of network, we've met so many people through social media now and what we post and how we do it, that it's just having a conversation with people and seeing whether you can do something. Always worth it.
I think that's what people, when you hear a lot and people get annoyed by it, is the word authentic when it comes to social media. But I think what people mean by authentic is like just actually having conversations. People forget you double click. Why not just leave a little comment or get into the DMs and start chatting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it's meant to be, I think. And
that's relationship
build a little
building.
Community, like
Yeah, exactly right. That was my old job, was relationship building, development work, and it's exactly the same principle in cooking. He's just building up a network and just helping people, and you'll get it back. And that's it.
That's 100%. You find your own crowd then as well.
Yeah, definitely.
How often are your pop-ups? Once a month? Or
they're once a month at the moment, yeah. We're in talks with another company, another 2 companies actually, that want us to start doing a pop-up there as well. There's one in Stafford and one in Birmingham city centre. So it's like we got a lot of things bubbling at the moment, which is really good.
You're going to be a busy man.
Hopefully. I need it. Skint, I tell you.
What can people expect? I think we spoke about it at the beginning, but I think we spoke off air, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't think we were recording. So did you say it was 7 courses?
About a lot of the pop-ups.
Yeah, the pop-ups.
So the pop-ups, what we try and do is kind of, our motto was always kind of under promise, over deliver. So people go, because to me, Michelin stars, I always remember them through the free stuff that I was given. I know that sounds stupid, but it's always the free stuff. So that was kind of what we wanted to do. So Gin and Pickles will do 3 courses, but we'll kind of give 5 or 6 things there, just different stuff. Like we do like a last Rolo, which is a Rolo, and people love it.
Gold
Rolo filled with
amazing.
amaretto. But it works because you just get people Instagram it as well. I think, and that's the almost horrible thing with it, that you got to do food that is a bit gimmicky when really you don't want to. You want it all to be about the flavour, but also I mean, when we first started, they were saying, well, you need to do like a chocolate bomb because everyone films them, and then that will start trending and stuff. You're like, oh, yeah, but if it happens organically, brilliant. And that last Rolo kind of happened organically, and we do it, and people started to post kind of about it when they had it, and that seemed to be the main thing. And I like the fact that it was organic. You weren't searching for, well, that's going to look good on Instagram kind of thing.
Yeah, it was
that makes sense.
It just does look good on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think we're near enough coming to an end now. It took a good bit of your time. I don't think I could let you go without asking you to recommend a couple of cookbooks. Yeah, seeing as you through the whole episode, you seem like the kind of person who will take a recipe from a cook. Well, you'll actually use a cookbook. You know,
Yeah.
I have hundreds of cookbooks, but do you think I cook any of them? No.
Do you know
I just love sitting down and reading them. But
They're
you look
your
like a man who uses them. Like.
They're your starting block. Like I've got one in the van now that we got the van. I have like about 4 or 5 up on my bedside cabinet as well.
Would you pick a couple just as a
couple?
favourite?
I'd say there's oh God, you're gonna ask me who it's by, but there's a Japan cookbook that's incredible, like hardcore Japan.
I'll tell you what I'll do is
really good.
You can message me tomorrow or later, and I'll put a link in the show notes.
I'll ping them over. I've got about there's 3 or 4. There's another one called Korean barbecues, and it's all about kind of yakitori and making it. So if you're into that kind of food, it's about how you can replicate that at home without a yakitori grill that none of us have. That's on my Christmas list, but it won't be bought. I bet. Yeah. God damn it. But yeah, I'll have a think over some decent ones. But yeah, I'm into that at the moment. So it's all Japan and Chinese food.
That's good. Have you been Asia?
No, we go next year. Go next year for my 40th. So yeah.
Hang on, you're going to Asia, as in
we go like Japan. We're doing all that. Yeah.
No, I meant there's a restaurant in town called Asia. I was like, I don't know if I'd go there for my 40th. It's good, but I don't know.
So good they named it twice. I'm there.
Did you just thought I stuttered or something? I didn't notice you had a stutter.
I didn't want to bring it up then. I thought we've got through this interview.
There's a place just by the end of the kind of boring markets and stuff, isn't it? It's called Asia.
Yeah.
And you walk and go up the steps and you buy a little prepaid, you put some money on a card, and then it's like an old food hall then. They're all around the outside of the dining room.
Oh, nice.
And there's like a Japanese, there's Chinese, Thai, there's all different kinds of Asian foods, and you just go up, they take the money off your card, you just say which one you want, and you sit on the canteen style chairs and you stuff your face. But
see all really over that. Will you send me the link to that authentic. Then as well, if the thing go?
I always rave on. There was one, there's like a province of China, it's like just on the north border. It's a Muslim part of China, but they do like really spicy, thick noodles, like
udon,
like them, but thicker. And he makes them there by hand. You see him in there,
like
just
hand
making
pulled.
them. And it's so spicy. I mean, like I'm not a massive spice, but it will blow your head off. And they're really tasty. They really.
See, I love it. Why would you not like? There was a guy on Canary Kitchen this week that did a Kung Pao sauce.
I've seen your picture of it.
Yeah, so I wanted to learn about Kung Pao, so it was then researching that all Saturday to learn it, and we've nailed the sauce now. But that just through watching something on TV. The internet, everything's there, man.
Yeah, everything's
you got to do it.
There's a gloss on that sauce. You could see it in the photo.
I tell you what, it's stunning, man. Really good, really good.
Well, I think was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think that's it. I think all good.
Yeah, love that. Thanks very much for coming on, Mike.
Happy days. Awesome. Cheers, gents.
See ya.
Take care.